So these are the key words that you need to know off by heart in this order to know about the reflex arc and be able to describe and explain what's going on. So these are the key words. So the part of the central nervous system never changes the order. You need to learn this in this order. Okay, so these never change. Just remember this. But what does change is the stimulus, receptor, effector, and response. So in this situation, example, we're going to give you a stimulus, which is heat, and the effector is going to be pain receptors in the skin. So the stimulus is the heat, which is going to stimulate the receptors in your skin. So we're going to draw this. So we're firstly going to draw a hand. Inside the skin is where you're going to find pain receptors inside the skin, and they're going to be stimulated by the heat of a flame. So the stimulus is going to be, in this situation, the heat from the flame, and the receptors are going to be the pain receptors in the skin. Now, there are other receptors and other stimuli which we're going to go through in another video. So now we're drawing the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron is the neuron that connects to the receptor, and it takes the electrical impulse from the receptor to the central nervous system. So the sensory neuron is what we're labeling here. It is the first neuron in the reflex arc. Then we get to a synapse, which you learn about in a different video. So the synapse is a gap between two neurons. So there's always going to be a synapse between two different neurons. And in this case here, it is the relay neuron. That's the second neuron in the reflex arc. And you find the relay neuron, which is the second neuron in the reflex arc, in the central nervous system. So that is in the brain and in the spinal cord, which is what I'm drawing now, the spinal cord. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. An electrical impulse is now generated in the motor neuron. This is the motor neuron, and the signal crosses the synapse, which is connecting the relay neuron and the motor neuron. So this is now the motor neuron. The motor neuron is the neuron that connects the central nervous system to the effector. An effector can be a gland or a muscle. In this case, it's the muscle in the hand. So the motor neuron is going to connect to the effector, which in this case is the muscle. So the effector. This stays the same, but you've got to identify what the effector is. In this case, it's the muscle in the hand. And then the muscle is going to have a response, okay, which is going to be to contract and move the hand away. So the response is the muscle contracts, the effector contracts and moves the hand away. So that is the reflex arc. So at this point here, you should draw the reflex arc out. Or if you're not comfortable with doing that, you need to go back and rewatch the video just so you're certain on the order of the key terms used in the reflex arc. There are going to be some questions to follow to check your understanding of the reflex arc. You must know the diagram for a reflex arc, so I'd actually stop here, take your time, draw it, label it, and then answer the questions. And if you don't understand it, you must go back and rewatch the video. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. Press pause to answer the questions. The answers are going to follow, and if you're stuck, just rewatch the video. Press pause to go through your answers and make any corrections to your mistakes. If you made any mistakes, go back and watch the video again.